Welcome, my friends, to the Matthew Street channel. I am your host, Matthew Street, and I really appreciate you being here as always. And folks, I'm sad to say I'm making a video today that I was not planning on making until I got the terrible news yesterday that one of my favorite singers, female singers certainly of all time, Olivia Newton John, passed away at the age of 73 after a nearly 30-year battle with breast cancer. God bless her and her family. We are truly going to miss her. Folks, I thought what I'd do today is I'll show you a few things of Olivia's I have. I didn't take all of my Olivia vinyl and CDs out and whatnot. I have quite a bit of it. But I took a few things out to show you. But that's not mainly why I'm doing the video today. I wanted to just share some memories of her in my personal life. And started off by saying this. I know on these algorithms and that, half the people with attention spans of a flea leave after a couple of minutes. So there's one major thing I want to get right off the top, talking about Olivia Newton John with you. Listen to some of these names. I'll just think of some from the 70s and the 80s. Joan Jett, Diana Ross, Carole King, Linda Ronstadt, Karen Carpenter, Gloria Estefan, Denise Williams, Dolly Parton, Chaka Khan, remember? Tina Turner, wow, icon. Pat Benatar, did I say Donna Summer? Did I say Carly Simon? I'm not sure. Cher, Patti LaBelle, Anne Murray, so many. I'll even give, even though the end of her life was tragic, Whitney Houston. Think of some of and I'm sure I'm missing a million, folks. Think of some of these 70s and 80s female pop stars especially, and what they represented. Now, I may not be a fan of all their music. Half of those artists I just named, I don't own their albums or CDs. But I'll say one thing for all of them, including Olivia. I want to say for the most part, these ladies showed class. Whatever genre of music they were into, whatever image they were trying to portray, they showed class. Now, was every artist, female artist from the 70s and 80s, top-notch class and elegance? No, and I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus today, so I won't name some names. I'm just here to say, think of all in our era, at least in my era, that 70s, 80s era, the class and the elegance of a female pop star and how revered they were and how they were looked up to and admired, especially by young women. And folks, I just want to say Olivia is in that category, and she's part of a group that's becoming extinct, folks, because I'm going to say it and I'm right, and there's no one going to tell me I'm wrong. The majority, for the most part, female pop stars today are shameful. It's become shameful. And before you call me an old fogey, Matt, we're old, times change, the young people. No, folks, no way, okay? There are great, elegant, classy female singers out there today, but they're not in the mainstream. I'm talking mainstream, folks. The top 40, Casey Kasem, American Top 40. Remember those, Top 40. Mainstream. Shameful. The female pop stars today, for the most part, are shameful, and you're not going to prove me wrong because I'm right, all right? Yes, there are great classy female singers out there today, but they're just not in the mainstream. Let's be honest. But back in the day, in Olivia Newton John's day, they were in the mainstream. They were part of everyday life, people to be looked up to and role models for others. We don't see that nowadays, folks. I'm sorry, we don't. Anyway, off my soapbox. I wanted to get that right off the top for all the people that bail after a couple of minutes. Okay, bye. Folks, I've had so many wonderful memories of Olivia since the 1970s. When I first heard her music, I was only like 12 or 13. Had to be early 70s, 73 or 74. And she was putting out music that, to me, was like country pop. And I thought she was from Nashville or Tennessee or, an American from the country music land, so to speak. I really thought that. And then you find out later she was born in the United Kingdom and grew up in Australia, eventually gaining a home in America and Southern California and whatnot, made her home here in the United States. But when you heard songs like If You Love Me, Let Me Know, Let Me Be There, If Not For You, just so you know, Let Me Be There and If Not For You are on this wonderful, this is one of the earliest albums I have of hers, still in the shrink, still at the $6.59 price on it. The Let Me Be There and If Not For You, her version of If Not For You is fantastic, folks. Check it out. It's on this album. You can get it on compilations too. Wonderful version of it. I love George's version so much. You know, the great classic Bob Dylan track. But Olivia puts her own spin on it, and it's absolutely stunning. Love it. But when I'm hearing these songs like Let Me Be There and If You Love Me, Let Me Know, I Honestly Love You, and she does a great version of God Only Knows on this album here called If You Love Me, Let Me Know. This one's from 74, I believe. There's the back. Still in the shrink. I still have my shrink. I took care of my albums for the most part, folks. This is a great one, folks. And still that country pop flavor, but she does, like I said, great version of God Only Knows on this one. Oh, and if I didn't say it, the first one's called Let Me Be There. Not sure if I said it. Then you have this one. And she continued that trend where she still was like kind of a light pop, country pop artist on this album, Have You Never Been Mellow? Great album. I love this one. Have You Never Been Mellow, obviously, is on it. Please, Mr. Please. Fabulous song. Great song. She does two beautiful John Denver covers on here. She does Goodbye Again and Follow Me. Beautiful. I mean, I can't name every song. I mean, all these albums are great, folks. Highly recommended to you. Check them out. She then did an album called Come On Over in 1976. This one came out, I believe. And she didn't have as many hits on this one. She had a great version of Jolene is on here. Fabulous version of Jolene. The song Come On Over, which is the title of the album, is fantastic. But folks, the highlight for me on this album, Come On Over, check it out. Beautiful picture on the back, by the way. She does a tear-jerking version of The Long and Winding Road on here, which I absolutely love. I highly recommend you check it out. If it doesn't bring some emotion to you or a little bit of moisture to the corner of your eye, then check your pulse, okay? It's beautiful. The next album I thought I'd show you was her Greatest Hits Volume 1, which came out, there was another album after this one, and then she came out with this Greatest Hits. I don't have the one between Come On Over and the Greatest Hits, but it has great songs on it like Sam, and I believe the name of the album is, well, I don't have it here, folks. But anyway, the song Sam is on there. It's beautiful. And a great song called Don't Stop Believin' is wonderful. But the Greatest Hits is great. You got to get Volume 1. I wish I had taken all my albums, folks, but I didn't. After the Greatest Hits came out, she started starring in movies, and this is a famous one, Grease. We all know and love this. One of the top-selling soundtracks of all time. One of the most popular movies of that year, 1978. Really, really popular in culture today. And after that album came out, later that year she came out, and this is when she started to change her image a little bit, get more modern pop rather than country pop. Now she's becoming more of a pop music superstar here with the Totally Hot album in late 78. Great, great album. Love this album. She then, around 1980, did the Xanadu movie, which the movie kind of flopped. It's a great, light-hearted, fun romp. If you just want something to make you happy and smile with great visuals and wonderful music, kind of like Magical Mystery Tour, you know, not the greatest film in the world, but fun to watch and absorb the music and the imagery. Same thing with Xanadu. Not the greatest cinematic piece of film, but for the imagery, for the music, it's wonderful. She's working with ELO on this album, and ELO provides some wonderful music on this album along with Olivia. She works with Gene Kelly. She works with Cliff Richard. This album did great, probably better than the film did. And then one of her final major movie releases came out in 1983. It was called Two of a Kind. It reunited her with John Travolta. And again, not the greatest cinematic piece in the world, but for a light kind of romantic comedy with some good music and just some fun, an escapism for an hour and a half or so. I like the movie. I think it's cute. Two of a Kind. Totally different plot, and they play totally different characters than they played together in Grease, but it was fun to see them get together again and make another film. So check it out just for that measure. And the soundtrack's good. There's a lot of good stuff on the soundtrack here. Oh my God, my eyesight. You got Journey on here, Olivia, my goodness, Chicago, David Foster, Patty Austin. Yeah, there's a couple of great songs on here. Ask the Lonely by Journey is a great song, and that's on here as well. So, and I've got a couple of CDs I pulled out. Come On Over I have on CD because I love it so much. And if you want a greatest hits, you want to go for a single CD with all the hits, everything in her career, go with Magic, Olivia Newton John Magic on CD. That's what it looks like. So you can find it wherever. It's a great, great single disc, quick hit compilation, all the hits, all in one place, and you can get it relatively cheap. Folks, let me just go on again. I just wanted to show you some of her stuff and how wonderful her music has been. But she did do stuff beyond that. She released an album called Physical in 1981, which arguably could be her most successful album. And she did Greatest Hits 2 in 1982. She stumbled a little bit in 1985. She put out an album called Soul Kiss and really tried to morph her image into an 80s pop diva. And it really didn't suit her image and style. You know what I mean? I think if that album in 85 had been more retro, more of what Olivia was known for, maybe modernized a little bit, bring it up to the mid 80s, but keep it pure Olivia, I think it would have kept the train rolling a little longer and done better for her. But as it was, Soul Kiss just was too much, trying to be like a light Madonna, and it didn't come off too well. But she bounced back 3 years later. Commercially, at this point, she was kind of on the passe. But in 88, she released an album called The Rumor, which kind of got her back to the basics again. And it's a great album. Check it out if you get a chance. Some other great albums by her. She released an album in, I want to say, 86 or so called Warm and Tender, which is good. Back with a Heart in 1998 is a great album. So she does have some good later period albums and music. And one of her most recent and great albums in my book is Grace and Gratitude, which came out in 2006. Check that out if you get a chance. Wonderful album by Olivia. And my final big memory of Olivia is, besides all the music, hearing it as a kid through the 70s, and that's when I started getting into her, and I've been buying her stuff and listening to her ever since. But in the 2000s, I'm not sure, it was either 2005 or so, I can't remember, but me and Mrs. Street traveled to see Olivia Newton John at Foxwoods Resort Casino in Connecticut. And folks, it was one of the greatest times of my life, one of the greatest memories I have. Music, shows, Olivia live. She was only in her, I want to say, early to mid 50s at that time, and she still had it, folks. She was vibrant. She was healthy. Her voice was top notch. She was on top of her game. She came out and entertained that crowd from start to finish, played all the hits, played some deep cuts. Folks, it was an absolutely stunning concert, and sadly we can't see her in concert again anymore. I'm going to miss that, but I implore you to go to YouTube and look up some Olivia Newton John live concerts. There's a great one from 1982 on the Physical tour. You might be able to find some later period Olivia live, but go find some. Check it out, folks. One of the greatest memories of my life with my wife, Mrs. Street, was seeing Olivia Newton John live and in person. What a beautiful, wonderful memory I'll always cherish for the rest of my life. So, Olivia, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We love you. Thank you for the music. Thank you for your joy, your passion, your spirit, your wonderful soul, your wonderful heart. I pronounced the R then. I want you to know that, folks. I didn't say hot. Your wonderful heart. She just makes me smile, folks. Thinking about her, looking at a picture over here on the table as I'm talking to you, she just makes you smile. She makes you beam. She makes you feel positive. She brings you out of your funk and your sadness if you're going through it. And I'll always thank her for that, for being there when I needed to put on one of her albums and lift myself up again spiritually and in my heart and soul. Olivia always could do it for me. So, folks, thanks for being here, jabbering on here for 15, 16 minutes. But I love Olivia Newton John, and I want to celebrate her and her wonderful music and wonderful life. And we're going to miss her. Olivia, we will miss you. We pray for you and your family and wish them all the best going forward. It's going to be so difficult for her family and friends and loved ones. But, folks, celebrate Olivia by listening to her music, maybe listening to a couple of the albums that I recommended to you today, okay? Thank you so much, folks. I appreciate this. I didn't mean to ramble, but I love this woman and her music so much, and I wanted to celebrate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.